Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for the middle of November 2025. You have this Triceratops card. It says setting boundaries, standing proud, using your sacred voice. You have this Capybara. It says selectiveness, group bonds, and sway. So I think that it is a good time to set boundaries, of course, still, definitely during a Mercury retrograde. I feel like the key word on this card is being selective. We have to really focus on what's important right now until like March. That doesn't mean you can't focus on dumb stuff either after March. It just means until that time, it's like extra important that you do what works and you focus on, progress and making progress towards whatever it is that you're trying to do. And yeah, that's what I would do there, Aquarius. This card also says sway on it in group bonds. I think for you, especially, that kind of like listening to yourself is going to be very important. The problem next year is Neptune and Aries. Neptune and Aries, we can, be moved by the crowd, right? We can be, it's like people can have a little bit more influence over us. And I think that's what we have to be careful of. We should have our own mind, especially with Pluto and Aquarius in your sign, right? Pluto and Aquarius is the collective, but as I always say, it doesn't mean that you become part of the hive mind. You still have to have your own thoughts, your own ideas, your own directions. And yeah, I would just think about it. Your first card, which is how you're entering into the reading, is the Sun, which is amazing, Aquarius. This is like a lot of happiness and joy. A lot of people have been getting these cards of like happiness and joy and stuff like that in the middle of the month. So I don't know. If you asked me at the beginning of the year what I thought of the end of the year, I would have said it's a little bit sketchy, right? And it is. I think there's sketchy stuff going on, obviously. But, I don't know. It's been rather positive, I would say. I think people have been getting good stuff about kind of not going crazy and, focusing on their own happiness and bringing more happiness into the world, which I'm definitely a big supporter of, regardless of what's going on. But, again, you could be feeling very happy at this time. Your crossing energy is the Four of Swords. I feel this for you and Pisces. You're born right next to each other, but I think we're talking about you here, Aquarius. It's like I think you definitely need more sleep and need more rest. Four of Swords is the classic Mercury retrograde card. It's like resting, relaxing, recovering, which is all good stuff to do during a Mercury retrograde. I think like having good sleep habits and everything, it would be good for you right now because we need energy during Mercury retrograde, and it's not as bad as like a Mars retrograde, for example, but I definitely feel like people like need to do things like stay healthy and have the energy to be able to make progress towards their goals and all that other good stuff. I also think we're in a pretty lucky time. So this is a card of hoping and praying for a blessing. There's a person right here blessing another person. And we have this water trine this month, and it's happening with Jupiter in Cancer, so it's like a little bit extra lucky. And even though it is a Mercury retrograde, I do feel that if you ask for something, you could get answers on how to get it. Next, in the area of what's on your mind, you have the King of Cups. Could be a person, could also just be your emotions. King of Cups has very deep emotions, and he has explored his emotions to a very deep level, but he is perfectly fine. He's sitting in these choppy waters, but his face looks perfectly fine. He's not worried about what's going on around him. He's not worried about the choppy waters or anything like that because he knows how to control his emotions. So that could be a good thing for you to focus on just in general. I feel like you're getting to a stage in your life where you're going to be like a little bit more adventurous as well. He has this boat right here, and that boat it kind of represents traveling into the unknown on the King of Cups, or doing things that you've never done before. And coming up in the area of what's on your mind, I feel you're having these like little thoughts that are pulling you in new directions. It's like you're exploring, but it's like a child, I don't mean that. I don't mean that as a criticism, Aquarius, but it's like if you've ever seen really small children, it's like they'll play, but then they'll run back to their mother, and then they'll go and they'll play and they'll run back to their mother. It's like giving me that type of vibe where it's like you might be exploring new ideas. You go explore a new idea, a new thing that you want to work on, a new person, and then you kind of like come back and, reassess how you feel about it. I feel good about it though. So, there you go. If you're doing that, it's probably a good thing. You have the Fool in the area of your foundation, which is also pretty good. The Fool is a new beginning, and you're launching from the foundation position, which says that you are launching something new or taking a leap of faith from a solid foundation, which is a good thing. I think you always get this with me, Aquarius. Part of the Fool is that he has to take the risk of looking foolish. People are calling him a fool for wanting to take a leap of faith off that cliff. But, the whole point of the card is that he is trusting that the way will appear. He is trusting that there will be a step that appears in front of him when he takes that leap of faith. And, we all have to take leaps of faith at different times in life. So I kind of just feel like you're taking a leap of faith here, Aquarius. Next, in the area of your past, you have this winds of change. It says your surroundings will undergo a transition. You have this dragon. It says strength and wisdom on it. Yeah, a lot of people have been getting these cards of kind of like you're changing your surroundings. I think it's because we're in a time where it is a good time to work on your environment, like the energy around you. Mercury retrograde is very internal, and we can do a lot of internal work. But also, I think what people need to realize, like the energy around you, like your home or where you live or the things that you do and even your habits, those things, they do affect you internally. So I think that if you're doing anything to create a more successful environment around you, that could give you a lot of strength, which is definitely something I would do. You have the Hangman also in the past. It's like waiting. In a lot of ways, this reading is talking about enlightenment because the Hangman, his head is glowing. He has gained enlightenment. You have the Sun right next to it, which is enlightenment. And the Sun, could definitely represent like getting an answer on your next steps or what you should do next. Could also be shining a light on something. Sometimes I think the Sun is very subtle. Sometimes I think it's our attention. We can just start paying attention to an idea or something new. And if we move towards it, if we learn about whatever we're paying attention to, it could lead to a lot of success. Next, in the very near future, you have the Building Blocks card and the Observer card. There you go. Like the whole Observer thing, you are observing something. You could see an opportunity before it actually enters into your life with the Sun. And so I would pay attention to your attention, basically. That Building Blocks card I love because those blocks are like falling around this lady and they are lifting her up. So a lot of you could definitely be being lifted up at this time. Again, a very powerful time for you for the next 20 years, Aquarius, with Pluto in your sign. Pluto is your power. And so out of all the signs, you have a little bit of a blessing here to kind of like rise in power. And of course, we want to do that positively. But anything you can do to like level up, to grow, to expand, all those things are going to lift you up more. Next, in the area also of the very near future, you have the Two of Pentacles. Again, I feel pretty good about this. I feel like you're very busy. It just feels like busyness to me, like you are doing a lot. You have a lot going on. Again, the Fool would suggest that you're taking some sort of leap of faith here. And, maybe you take it at the end of the month or, the beginning of December or something. I don't know that you're necessarily going to be taking a leap of faith today, but whatever you're taking a leap of faith on, I think is going to make you very busy over the next probably several years, not even just right now. And so it's like you're working on something long-term or you're about to work on something long-term. Probably one of the best things that you could do right now, especially with Saturn moving into Aries next year in February. It will move back into Aries. It's retrograding in Pisces right now. But I think of number one, Saturn retrograde. I think I just said Pluto, but sorry, I meant to say Saturn. And I think about with Saturn retrograde is like working on a long-term project, especially for you, having it retrograding in Pisces. If there's something that could make you money but that would take a while to build, that is what you want to focus on for sure, because it will last for a long time if you do that under Saturn retrograde and also Saturn in Aries. The thing about Saturn in Aries is like Saturn has to finish something when it's in Aries. It wants you to like start and finish. And so, again, it's a great time to like write a book or to start a business or to start hopefully a long-term relationship if that's what you're into or whatever. It's like anything that could take time, and it's great to put the work into those things. Next, in the area of your outcome, you have this ending card. It says loss, letting go, over, no death, irrevocable conclusion, afterlife, destruction, the end of a phase. Definitely ending a phase here. You have this courtship. It says business or romantic meetings, social life, early stage of love, parties, meetings with friends, and events. And you have the Knight of Cups as your outcome. So for those of you looking for love, definitely could be a new person coming in. Again, it's been interesting. The month of November has had a lot of love stuff in the readings. Again, that doesn't mean you have to like date a person right this second, but it could just be a sign that the energy is changing, or maybe over the next few months people will be more focused on love. But there is definitely a person here. I also think that it's Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is retrograding back into Taurus in the middle of the month here, and Uranus and Taurus is very heart-based, so we have to work on our love energy. We have to love the things that we're doing. If you're doing things that you hate, you are going to struggle. If you're doing more of what you love, then things will go very easily, and maybe not easy, but better. And that's what I would be doing with all this stuff, plus the astrology for sure. Next, in the area of the next few months, you have the King of Swords. I kind of feel like this is you just showing up here, Aquarius. You're just like showing up in a strong position. Whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from a reading. So you could be finding a lot of success here with the King of Swords. It's a card of knowledge and wisdom. I feel like you have learned a lot, especially over the last 20 years with Pluto and Capricorn in your 12th house. That's like a lot of internal getting down and dirty type of work. So, especially internal work inside of you and anything that affects you internally or emotionally and things like that. So I feel like you're kind of, coming out here as a king or a leader, or you're taking control. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, this is all relationships in your life. You have the Moon card. I just feel like a lot of people are going to be changing their surroundings, right? And so, part of me feels like it's a very obvious thing to say, just knowing the astrology, that people are going to be making new friends and things like that, because really, as far as I'm concerned, it's very obvious that this would be happening at this time. Especially, we have Neptune in Pisces, which is traditional belief. It's a direct challenge to traditional belief. We can all change our traditional beliefs or our beliefs in pretty much anything. Also, next year, we'll have Neptune moving into Aries, which is also very similar. Neptune in Aries is like looking for a savior. In Neptune and Aries, we have to save ourselves, really. But at the same time, we can kind of form new connections with people who we feel like have answers, and they might not. You just have to figure it out as you go. But what I will say is I think we've all learned a lot about who we can and can't trust over the past many years. So we have to apply that to new people that we meet, and we can avoid the mess if we do that. The Moon is about not being sure. It's a card of fears, fantasies, illusions. But it's about going on the journey. The Fool has to go from here to these mountains that are in the background of the card. The Fool also has to release his emotional armor on the Moon card. We have this lobster right here. Lobsters don't do very well on land. And so, what it represents to the Fool is that he has to open up emotionally if he's going to be successful on his journey, and he has to take the risk of getting hurt. This is not just in love, this is in all areas of your life, and really there is no good answer. It's I've looked for a good answer for a very long period of time. It's I've worked with a lot of people that want to start a business, even not just love, they want to start a business, and they're I failed so many times, I can't take another failure. And it's I get it, but the only answer is to do it. And so that is the Moon, right? And the Moon, the trick with the Moon is to just keep going, right? He needs to just make it to those mountains. The Moon comes up, and eventually the Moon goes down and the sun comes up. Eventually there is clarity, right? Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Two of Wands. Pretty good. I mean, he is progress. He can represent making progress. He also has the gift of foresight. He's able to see the future a little bit. I kind of feel that Neptune in Pisces, right, especially in January when Neptune leaves Pisces and goes into Aries, the trick with Neptune in Pisces is you cannot see the future. I think, and I say I think because I don't know, this is Chris's crappy astrology, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Neptune in Pisces, it removes those milestones. If you're trying to accomplish something, if Neptune isn't in Pisces, it's we can almost see the next step that we're going to take. With Neptune and Pisces, they're super far apart. We can't really see what is going to happen. And so I think it makes it harder to work towards a goal with Neptune and Pisces. And I won't be able to prove this because we'll all be dead the next time Neptune comes back to Pisces. It'll be 80-something years or whatever, right? So, unless they successfully turn us into robots, which I'm absolutely sure they're trying to do. So don't buy into the whole robot BS when they try to inject you with like nanorobots or whatever. But what I would say, I mean, unless you want to live through another Neptune and Pisces, which I really don't. I'm over it. So, I would just say that the Two of Wands really wants you to take the lead, make progress, trust that future vision. The Two of Wands also wants you to get out into the world. And a lot of the readings at this time have been pushing people to get out of comfort zones. I think because we have all been in comfort zones for too long. And yeah, that's it. You have the Knight of Cups as your outcome. The Knight of Cups, of course, can be a knight in shining armor. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be, a knight in shining armor coming in for you here. The Knight of Cups can also be about working towards your dream. So if there's something you want to accomplish, or if you have a dream, it would be a good time for you to start working towards your dream, whatever it is. And again, I say this all the time because Neptune and Pisces, one of the good things about Neptune and Pisces, especially because we have Saturn there, like I think it's a blessing that Saturn has been with Neptune, the whole entire time Saturn's been in Pisces, right? And they moved into Aries basically at the same time. They retrograded within a month of each other. They're going to move back into Aries within a month of each other. And, this energy, I think, is really amazing for accomplishing something that seems impossible. So there you go. With the Four of Swords and the Sun, you have the Four of Cups. It's like there is a little bit of boredom energy. Again, the one challenge with Saturn and Pisces is like I feel that it makes us feel like we're out of time, or we can feel the pressures of time, but we also don't know what to do. So it's like, if you feel like you're running out of time, it's one thing if you know what steps to take. But if you don't know what to do, it's like, what the hell do I do? And so I get that feeling here. I'm laughing with you, Aquarius. I'm not laughing at you here. But, it's like I totally feel that energy. It's like, okay, I know I need to do something, but like what? Yeah, and I don't know. I don't have a good answer. Maybe we'll discover an answer together. Probably not. Probably because, Neptune and Pisces is like, no. With the King of Cups, you have the Death card. Yeah, it is a time of change. I think one of the best things we can work on is our environment, again, our energy around us, because that will make us feel different. And, that's why I've changed my setup like 10 times, right? Because I'm just seeing if it makes me feel more motivated or whatever. Not that I really lack motivation, but I think it's just a good thing to work on. I think it's a great time to like clean up your environment as well. South Node in Virgo, right? Anything you can do to like fix up your home or fix up the energy or create a better flow of energy, get rid of the spider webs, all that other stuff. Vacuum your floors, wash your bed sheets if you haven't washed them in like 6 months, right? Stuff like that. Get the energy moving. Open your windows, even though it's the middle of winter practically. Just get that energy moving. With the Fool, you have the Knight of Cups. Yes, people are telling you not to do this, is what I feel intuitively. Am I wrong? I don't know. I feel like some of you have your eye on a person and people are like, oh no, you're crazy. Or something. Or people are like, oh, I don't know. There's something going on here, Aquarius. I would take the risk. If that message resonates with you or whatever, if people are like, that girl's way too hot for you or whatever, or that person's out of your league. I don't know. They're jerks. Don't listen to them. I would go for it. With the Hangman, you have the Knight of Wands. Much more focused energy. I think this energy is, the reason I'm hesitating here is because it's showing up in your past. The past position, we are moving past that energy. You're a fixed sign. And for the next 20 years, you have to be flexible with Pluto in your sign in how you accomplish something. It's like the first way you try to do something might not work. You might have to be flexible and try something else. So like, don't totally get rid of this energy. But, what I would say is I do feel like you feel more focused. And I do think it's a good time for you to like pick an outcome that you desire, but don't worry too much about how you're going to get there. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Ten of Cups. Yeah, again, I feel pretty good about this. It's like you could be very busy, but Ten of Cups is like results. Ten of Cups is a blessing. Ten of Cups is happy home, happy family. But I don't think this card has to do with love in this reading. I think it's more saying that you're creating more happiness on earth, or you're bringing more happiness down to earth, which would be good for you. I also feel that if you're like with the Two of Pentacles, if you're busy, but if you're busy doing things that make you happy or bring you fulfillment, then there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's that obviously is what we should be doing. So I think as long as you're doing things that make you happy, I would just keep doing what you're doing. With the King of Swords, you have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, needing to open up to that vulnerability, right? The Nine of Wands, he's trying something one more time. It's a card of perseverance and not giving up. And he's giving like this wand one last chance. He's tried something like 8 times before. I do think we could all feel a little bit crazy right now because of this type of energy. This retrograde has been very interesting to me, just like seeing how it's working and everything. I just feel that it's one of those retrogrades where it could be encouraging us to like try something again that we've tried to do in the past. And I feel if you do it, you'll probably be successful this time around. So, and part of me thinks it's because of the water trine that we have going on. Water trines are incredibly lucky, and we have the retrograde, which is, retrogrades are great for redoing things or retrying again or trying to, have that business success again that you've tried before or whatever it is. And so I would try again here, Aquarius. With the Moon, you have the Page of Swords. Yeah, too many unknowns. Like if you are, again, there's a little bit of love here. What I really call a love reading, no. But if you are looking for love, there's like too much mystery here or not enough answers, right? Or something. So it's like, I think that, obviously you're going to have to get answers. Like if you have your eye on a person or something, Aquarius, an answer means that you're going to have to like maybe go on a date or, actually talk to this person. Talk to this person with your mouth. I know that is just, I know how crazy that is in 2025. Most people only talk on their phone. I realize that we no longer have conversations, but, again, you're going to have to talk to this person with your mouth hole, and that's it. With the Two of Wands, you have the Page of Pentacles. Again, I feel pretty good about this because Two of Wands, he needs to have a new beginning. Page of Pentacles is a new beginning. Page of Pentacles is studiousness. He is, learning about a new opportunity, or he's doing something new with his life. But the key word there is learning. He has to learn about the new thing. This is also an amazing card for communication. So mostly we consider the Knights in the tarot to represent messages or communication, but I also consider the Page of Pentacles to be a card of communication. So you could definitely be getting communication or talking to a new person. And, if you are, you're going to have to learn about that person, of course. I can't make this up. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Eight of Wands. Again, talk with your mouth to this person, and I think you will be very happy that you did if you want love. The Eight of Wands is like very quick success, so it could be something that happens very quickly. This could also be about your dream, right? The Knight of Cups is very dreamy, and he is having a dream. Pluto and Aquarius definitely wants you, especially being in Pisces, wants you to bring out like deep dreams that you have, things that you've always wanted to accomplish, the things that seem impossible. And if you make those things your focus, then you can accomplish them very, very quickly if you do it. And that's what I would do. Now, there's one thing I want to say with this card, which is flexibility. These wands are all in a different position on the card. And so sometimes I think with the Eight of Wands that they're all hitting their target at a different time, but they're all pointed at the same target. With the Eight of Wands, sometimes I think what happens is that things don't happen in the order that we want them to happen, and we get disappointed or we think that it isn't working. This card says, no, it is working. It's just not happening how you want it to happen. So let things work is what that card is saying. And if you do that, I think you will be very happy that you did here, Aquarius. So let's see. You have this dog card. It says protection from a powerful friend. Yeah, we see a lot of protection here, so you probably are. You have this fair woman. It says dealings or relationships with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. You have this vase card. It says secret admirer. Doesn't have to be a woman. Could be any gender. Page of Swords can be a secret admirer. It could also say if you look like that woman right there. I'm not sure, but if you do, then you are the secret admirer here, Aquarius, with that Page of Swords. And I feel like you have to open your mouth, like I said. You have this torch card that says spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. It's an amazing time for spiritual development. Again, we're getting to the end of Neptune and Saturn and Pisces, by the time we get to next year. And so it's an amazing time to kind of like meditate, listen to your higher self, do that, spiritual work, get rid of blockages, things like that. You have this rose card. It says romance is in the air, obviously. So there you go. I really have nothing to say about that I haven't already said. So there you go. You have this dog barking. It says advice from a friend. I think there's like bad advice from a friend and good advice from a friend. Like I said, I think that some of you could be getting advice where it's like they're telling you not to take the leap of faith. I think other people are getting advice that you should take the leap of faith. Obviously you should, is what the reading is saying. So I don't know. It doesn't really matter if it's good or bad advice. I would just do it and listen to yourself. That's it. The end. So thank you for being here, Aquarius. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your month.